Did Seth do this?
Nate, there's no time for that right now.
Hello, wherever you are. How are you? Back again with me, Nathan, who always presents fantastic films. This time I will summarize a psychological horror thriller film titled Pete, which was released in 2016. There's an interesting plot twist in this film, but it is pretty confusing, the storyline extraordinary. Very common to follow. So without further ado, because tomorrow night I have to fly to Colombia to attend Brad Pitt's son's wedding. So just attach a symmetrical hand grip and lie down. Stop chatting with your ex. Strengthen your heart and mind without thirst and hunger. Enjoy watching and check it out. The story will focus on an old bachelor named Seth. He is busy working as a caretaker at an animal shelter or animal control, where he seems to really enjoy his job and really loves all the animals that are there.
She is. There she is. Oh, okay. All right, Lexi. Oh, hey, big doggy.
When he came home by bus, he saw a woman who was writing, so he approached her, and apparently seniors while still in school. This woman's name is Holly.
Holly, right? Holly Garling.
Holly herself had somewhat forgotten about Seth, because as the idol in class, she had never paid attention to an unattractive croco like her.
Hi, I'm sorry. Do we know each other?
Oh, Seth. Westbrook High.
At home, Seth was still thinking about the meeting earlier, and judging by how he's been lurking and searching Holly's Facebook, I'm sure he seems interested in Holly, especially if you see a photo of Holly with a dog. The next day, Seth asked the security at work. His name is Samsel. Seth asked about how to attract women and what if we like a woman but she doesn't like us.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
With strong charisma and a pretty masculine face, Samsel also suggested that Seth meet him in person and pay special attention to him. And the most important thing is self-confidence.
Guy who's confident, knows how to make him laugh.
Confident. Funny, make him laugh. Got it.
It wasn't long before the boss called Seth to let them know that the shelter was getting full to capacity due to a large number of abandoned animals. Therefore, one of the dogs had to be lethally injected so that the cage at the shelter would be empty.
Hey, good girl. Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it?
Despite objecting and not having the heart to do it, Seth also had to be willing to let a dog named Lexi, who is his favorite dog, be euthanized and die without being able to enjoy his youth as a prosperous dog. As per Samsel's suggestion, he writes down everything he sees about Holly on Facebook and then goes to his workplace where he works as a waiter in a restaurant. With her self-confidence high, she tries to strike up an interesting conversation with Holly, which only irritates Holly at work, and it seems that Holly really isn't interested in Seth.
Why don't you, take a look at the menu, and I will go grab your water.
Hang on a second.
Even though he didn't get a good response, Seth still didn't want to give up, where he is determined to follow Holly after work until she finds out where she lives. Holly herself lives with her best friend named Claire. Here she is, where the two are seen very close, even often drinking wine together while enjoying the beauty of nature.
To us.
Shortly thereafter, Holly also received a phone call that she thought was from Seth, but it turns out to be Holly's boyfriend named Eric, and if Seth finds out that Holly already has a boyfriend, of course, Seth will be very disappointed and hurt.
Yes, Eric.
Hey, babe.
What do you want? Get paranoid on me, Eric. You're no fun when you're paranoid.
The next day, when Holly arrives at work, she gets a delivery of her favorite roses, which Holly says were sent from her boyfriend Eric, but they were from Seth. When she met Eric at the bar where she worked, Holly thanked her for the flower gift she had given, but Eric, who felt he had not sent the flowers, immediately confused Holly and said to himself, "It seems..." And sure enough, it didn't take long for Seth to appear and recklessly approach Holly, where Seth said that he only wanted to talk to Holly, but because he was too frontal and sometimes looked too annoying, Holly felt scared, which made Eric act immediately. With a small body and emaciated, Seth was punched and kicked like a worthless human, where it was enough to provoke Seth's brutal soul, but he didn't retaliate because he was a good bachelor.
Fuck away from her! Don't you ever come back here!
Unexpectedly, when he was hit, Holly's book fell and Seth secretly took it home and read all of Holly's writings or notes. And what was most surprising was that there was something about Holly that amazed Seth, namely Holly's illness that made Seth take the initiative to help or cure his illness. What disease is it? Later you will know yourself. I don't know what the book contains. Seth quickly went to his workplace, then entered the shelter's basement, then looked for a tutorial to make a predictable cage. That moment will do something bad enough. Not only that, Seth took dope at work and then he tested himself to find out how strong the anesthetic is. After completing all the preparations, Seth starts following Holly at night. She realizes that he is being followed even when he bumps into a homeless person. Holly quickly sprays him with an anti-crime spray, which makes both of the homeless eyes sting. Seth also continued to follow Holly until his home, and with the tutorial on YouTube, he entered his room, drugged him, took him in a cardboard box, and managed to carry out the kidnapping he had planned for the women folk. That's why to be careful when a guy likes you. Don't be rejected outright. Afraid of being hurt and desperate to do something like that, try to reject him subtly and move away slowly. But if the guy's too pushy, then give him an understanding, try to say it.
What you doing here?
Oh, boss lady calls in the middle of the night, gotta make a delivery.
When she woke up, how shocked Holly was when she realized that she was already in the basement with dim light while trying to remove the cage chains. Holly had to remove the cage chains. Holly had to experience the pain when her nails came loose trying to open the chains. And that's enough to make me sick. Even when Holly screamed, Samsel couldn't hear her because it was covered by the barking of the dogs at the shelter. It wasn't long before Seth appeared with food and a portable toilet. Where it was rejected by Holly, then Seth took back his food.
We'll try this again tomorrow.
The next day, Seth returns to see a helpless Holly, then force it to wake up, and this is where we will find out about the reason why Seth did all this, because all of this is not solely because of love and heartache.
He's gonna kill you. But you know that.
And you will be surprised to know that Holly has an alter ego or split personality. Where is his boarding house friend named Claire? The one we saw earlier is nothing more than just an imagination in his mind. Almost the same as the Blade Hell movie.
What are you gonna do now?
Holly thinks that Clear is real and talks to each other a lot, even though it's just a way to keep herself from being lonely, and it's clear it's an illness. And the reason for Holly's kidnapping and confinement was just to help her.
I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you.
It all starts when Seth reads Holly's notebook, which contains all of Holly's real life. It's true that at first, Claire is clear that he is a real person or human that she considers a friend. However, when Claire was caught having an affair with Eric, she stepped on the gas in his car, causing an accident.
And now what? Suddenly you've got me all figured out.
As Claire is dying, Holly brutally kills her using broken glass, and is seen smiling while doing so. From there, Holly's personality disorder began to arise, at which time he thought that Clear was still there. Even the scene where he drank wine together with Clear was nothing more than just his imagination.
No.
She's not real.
Not only that, you will be even more shocked when you find out that Holly has killed several people to satisfy her pain, and the homeless we saw who was sprayed earlier turns out to have been burned alive by Holly, and Seth witnessed it with their own eyes.
And you think that's what? A confession?
As a result, it can be concluded that Seth's reason for doing this was not solely for himself, but for the sake of Holly's recovery and safety, so that he would not be caught and punished by the police.
This isn't punishment. I'm trying to save you.
Instead of wanting to save Holly, he often looks daydreaming while thinking of ways to cure this Holly, which threatens his job because he rarely takes care of the dogs at the shelter where he works.
The kennels are filthy. We've got bung up in the stockroom. One more strike and you're gone, understand?
Understood, thank you.
One day when Seth was not there, Samsel began to be suspicious of his movements of Seth. He often went in and out of the warehouse, and when Samsel checked it, how shocked it was when he found out that there was a woman who was locked up there and only wearing a bikini.
Holy shit.
There's a light on the wall. You have to find something to break open this lock. Can you do that?
When Seth came, he tried to hit Samsel with a flashlight. But because of the big loss, he's quite easy to beat, and you won't believe it when you see Holly stick out a leg that makes Samsel fall, where Holly tells him to kill Samsel so he can stay together.
Seth, I can't lose you.
Oh, fuck! What the fuck? Oh, my...
I don't know what this Holly is planning. Instead of wanting to control the situation, now it was Seth who seemed to be controlled by Holly, even though he had kidnapped Holly. It turned out that Seth was not as reckless as he imagined, because when he killed Samsel, Seth felt guilty and didn't know what to do.
Sorry.
Seth, you have to listen to me.
With the help of Holly, who is an expert in her field, she is given instructions to get rid of Samsel's tracks, namely by separating him into several pieces and burning his bones in the trash.
This time's always the worst.
I told you. It's an accident.
Face it, Seth.
So unknowingly, now that it was Seth who was either the slave or the pet of Holly's death game, you could tell this Holly was some sort of psychopath who was able to take control of the situation. Because even in a confined condition, a psychopath can still control the situation as he wishes.
No shame in accepting what you are, Seth.
Don't.
Next, because of Samsel's disappearance, Seth is questioned by a detective. However, according to the instructions given by Holly, Seth was able to provide an alibi properly and correctly. This situation that doesn't go according to plan puts him under even more pressure because his original intention was to cure Holly of killing habit. In fact, he is now the killer.
Gotta eat something.
Because it was included in the psychological game played by Holly, Seth also felt that Holly loved him very much, because what Holly did yesterday, namely when saving him from Samsel's attack, was considered as proof of the love that Holly gave him.
Just talk to me. Please. Tell me what you need.
And what happened next? It was completely unexpected when Holly asked for one of her fingers as proof of her sincere love for him.
Proof?
My finger?
Don't come back for me.
And with all that had happened, and with all the depression she was in, Seth finally cut him right in front of Holly. And when Seth's guard is down, Holly takes the knife and threatens to kill herself if Seth doesn't open the cage.
Open the door. How much more are you ready to lose?
because he loves Holly very much and is afraid that Holly will kill herself. Seth also had no other choice but to open the cage, and when Holly came out, she just kissed Seth with a few licks, then killed Seth and left him there.
Don't leave me.
A few months after that incident, Holly is now back alive and living in the house with her boyfriend Eric, who when Eric is caught cheating again, Holly is seen taking a knife and intending to kill him. But suddenly...
Hey babe, can you grab my phone?
Yeah.
And really short drive after the fumble. And
Here you go.
Thank you, babe.
Yes, Holly wouldn't do it. The reason is that when Holly feels hurt and feels alone, Holly still has a pet that she keeps in an empty building, which turns out to be Seth, who is still alive and is used as an outlet when Holly feels hurt.
Hi.
And looking at Seth's two severed fingers, disfigured face, and blind eye, it's clear that Holly torments him periodically. However, seeing Seth's submissive attitude and kissing Holly's hand, it can be concluded that Seth was willing to accept it all as proof of his sincere love for Holly, and it was truly blind love taken literally.